Everyone, this is delicious. Don Juan, the Texas treat, and you are listening to the Countdown City WrestleCast.
What is up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host and pretty much going to be distracted tonight, JC. A very distracted host tonight. Joining me this week is Tommy.
Hello.
And we got Mike.
What's up, guys? It's Big Mike here, and we are running down the tracks here in 2023. This weekend is Hybrid Mania 3. Did I rhyme the same word? I'm not allowed.
I mean,
for myself.
Well,
No, you're
I'll allow
because I would say you're allowed because you find so many other words most of the other time, and that one fit because that's happening. So
Okay,
Yeah.
This is April. We're 4 months into this year, and I'm going to be dead honest with you. It is much easier to remember to say electric boogaloo every week than I thought I had rhymes down, and I am running out here at the end. So I'll take what I can get.
This is definitely going to help you with your freestyle rap skills, Mike, for sure.
Well, that is, that was the plan.
Yeah.
when
Gonna
that
teach you to do that on TikTok.
man, when that mixtape drops, I'm going to be all over that. The streets
That's
are ready,
right.
Mike. The streets are waiting.
Yeah, just don't expect me to rhyme words other than that rhyme with 3. So
All right.
Fair enough.
Gotta start small. Yes, if you're watching us, thank you very much for joining us. I know we're a day earlier than usual. That's just mainly because, well, I'm going out of town this weekend. I'm leaving tomorrow. So, but what?
I was going to say, in all fairness, the previous 2 weeks we were a day later and late night.
Yeah, we haven't actually done Thursday in like 3 weeks.
We did our usual day in a while, actually. So.
And with Mandalorian season finale being last week, it kind of opened up Wednesday for us to jump in here. So,
Cool.
And also, I was on the Geekhouse last night. Definitely go back and watch that show if you haven't. We reacted to the Flash trailer that just came out, talked some of the latest news out of CinemaCon, and talked all about the series finale season of Star Trek Picard and the series as a whole. My Trekkie friend Kathy joined us for that one, probably the biggest Trekkie expert I know. So, and very cool discussion, and a lot of fun. So go check that out too.
Sweet.
Today we're going to talk mostly all about MPW Mission Pro Wrestling's Edge of Glory event that took place this past weekend.
Edge of Glory.
That Tommy and Mike attended. That they're probably still mad that I'm still predicting this stuff, even though I couldn't make it out there live.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that's exactly my problem.
Yes, we are. But in all fairness, actually, you did pretty well with me this time.
Yeah, I did.
Like, there's one main storyline that you're predicting right.
Mm-hmm.
So far.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to wonder if it may not just be limited to this year. Might go on beyond this year. And
I will say that we'll get into with the event. A couple matches did not end exactly the way I thought they would, leading to a match that's going to happen in June that I wasn't expecting, but I'm still all for.
Much we'll talk about. We'll also look ahead to this weekend's Hybrid Mania 3 show put on by the Hybrid School of Wrestling. I believe Mike's going to attend. Are you going to make it out there, Tommy, or no?
I'm gonna try.
Okay.
Saturdays have been weird for me lately. Like Saturday, like that, I have not been able to make a Sunday show in God knows how long because I was trying to go to PWE this past Sunday, and literally 4 things came up like hours before I was gonna go, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going then. So
I know we talked about with MPW. If you have Title Match Network, PWE's show was also on there.
That's right.
Oh, it did end up on there. Cool.
Yeah, so it did end up on there. I don't know what happened. The stream was late. I think they may have missed some early matches. I only watched the beginning of the stream for close to an hour. Some good matches, but also WrestleCast's own Casey Blackrose had a match with Kid Bandit, who is a viral sensation on the internet, and they had a hell of a match from everything I've seen. So I haven't had a full chance to go back and rewatch all of that, but I do want to go do that. because they had some big names there too. So,
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, before we get into that, let's talk a bit of wrestling news, and much of this is coming out of the WWE side of things. Guys, another big gold belt's returning, albeit, whoa, here's the big gold. We got to make it different. Okay, let's slap a big-ass freaking W in the middle of it and just call it something.
You'll never convince me that wasn't Vince's call.
oh look, it's their thing now. Once they realized that they give a belt to every sports team that wins, and they carry it around, and there's just a big WWE symbol on the front. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the next title belt is just a W-shaped belt.
Or just a big W. You're just carrying a W like you're freaking Chicago Cubs fan or something.
It's like a Wish version of the big gold belt.
Yeah.
And the big gold belt was the best championship belt in the existence of wrestling history, in my opinion. So don't try to copy it.
It's in my top 3 for sure. That belt is.
For me, it's just it just looks the most prestigious. Like I can understand if you like other titles for other designs or their connection with storylines, but just like what belt makes you look like a champion, to me, it's the big gold one. That's just always been for me.
Fair enough.
It's true. I think that was one of the cooler things that WCW had over WWE in the Monday Night Wars. Like the champion, that looked like a belt, whether there was NWO painted over it or not. You knew who the champion was, but then when you saw like people walk out with like the eagle logo and stuff, like granted WWE's updated since then, looks a lot better, but that gold belt was pretty prestigious. My issue, the world title, it's funny. It's always Hunter's idea. So
no, and I know this kind of connects in with some of the news we have, but the way he words that, I question some things. But go ahead.
At the risk of making it sound like my 1 minute warning, it's just kind of annoying. It's almost like, oh, no one's beaten Roman Reigns. Oh, he's got both titles. Oh, it's too hard to beat him. Let's make another champion on the site. Like, why?
I will admit that aspect of it does kind of suck. I'll grant. I'll give you that. Yeah.
And this goes back to WrestleMania 2. Is the 1,000 days worth it? Like at some point, I guess it started with Punk. We got so obsessed with like Days of the Reign. And they made the big thing about his 400-day reign, and then there was a thing with the women's title where what was it? Nikki held the Divas title for a bit longer so she could beat AJ's reign. Like they just got so obsessed with the number of days, and I think at times, and kind of like in this, it takes away from storylines that could be better than just numbers. Like, I don't know.
For sure. I think that's kind of. I mean, you have now. Granted, they have a great storyline going right now with the Bloodline, what they're working on, and that's kind of the big thing is like, when is he going to drop the title? Is it going to be Cody working his way back up to next WrestleMania 40 in Philly, and winning it there, which would be an amazing story too. But I don't know. It takes away from the prestige. It's like, okay, we've done this before. The original Bland Spit, you had the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship. Well, we kind of ended that, so we'll combine them. Now we're brand splitting again. We have the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the Universal Championship. Now Roman holds them. And it's like, he's probably never going to lose it. It almost feels like he's never going to lose them, so let's just make another one.
Someone already made a meme where it's like every year Triple H introduces a new belt, but Roman just keeps winning them.
Yeah.
He looks like Ultimo Dragon.
It is kind of funny. It'd be hilarious if he's just walking around, and at one point he's just going to have to like put a contraption strapped to his back with all the belts hanging from it, like an Aztec warrior type thing. But I don't know. Is this just lazy on WWE's part just to make another championship?
In the context of how it came about, I'm going to say yes. Okay. And like what you just said, and the fact that
in the context, because I remember when we had Moose had the TNA World Heavyweight title while the Impact champ, because he wanted to, and then when Rich Swann beat him, he had both, and then when Kenny Omega Kenny Omega beat him, and then he had both essentially.
Right.
And then when Christian Cage beat Kenny Omega, then he like pretty much retired the TNA belt. I feel like if they had retired the Universal title, which I feel like that's the belt that should be retired, not the WWE Championship that has like 200 years of prestige. I know I'm exaggerating that year number. I know, but I did that for
it's only 175. Don't worry. It's okay.
And Bruno Sammartino had it for 75 of those years. Anyway, but I feel like they should go ahead and drop one now, and it should be the Universal title. I'm sorry, but it's only not even 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But see, and this is where the connection to their numbers kind of messes them up, because he hasn't had both titles for 1,000 days. He's had the Universal title. He got that second title last WrestleMania, or the one before, when he beat Brock. So as a combined champion, he had it. So if you drop Universal before he gets that 1,000 days, and not that they actually have any problem with lying about their own history, but it kind of throws a wrench in there, because he hasn't been dual champion for 1,000 days, just Universal.
No. In the history of it, it's always been like Jericho held 2 belts for the longest time until he lost it to Triple H, WWE and WCW, lost it to Triple H, and then Triple H just had one. I'm trying to remember how they got rid of it last time. They said they were going to have that ladder match. Was it Cena and Orton or something like that? They put the ladder match. Let's put the titles away. Here's this one big new championship belt and everything. And I don't know. It's just lazy. You're just saturating the market with belts.
But the difference is, even when Jericho had the one, and then when Cena and Orton had the ladder match, it was one championship. It just had 2 belts represented.
Yeah,
that was the annoying part. It was like it was still one championship, but it just had 2 belts to represent it. It's kind of like what here comes my Japan hat. Like what All Japan had with the Triple Crown belt. That was 3 different belts, but it was one title. It was like they weren't defending each belt because they had already settled that way back.
This may be the most logical thing that happens.
Probably. That's actually I was actually thinking something similar, and I meant to say that, and I completely forgot until Jason brought it up. So yeah, Jason, I agree with what Jason said.
Here's what I hope they do with it: they make a custom Tribal Chief WWE Championship. I mean,
I'm kind of shocked they didn't do that already.
We had one for Cena. We had one for Edge, technically. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Rock had one that just never debuted.
Yeah.
What does it look like? What's
it's
the thing?
It's Roman Reigns doing the Superman punch against Jey Uso.
There's got to be like that logo or like a silhouette. I don't know, some sort of like Samoan tribal writing on it. Freaking Daniel Bryan got one when that storyline was going on. I mean, think about that.
A friend of mine, you brought that up. A friend of mine says, "I love it that his villain role was being a hero for the planet."
Yeah.
Well,
but
you're run by a billionaire.
If you want to like cut it down to one championship, that's the ideal way to do it. Debut a custom championship, and then when someone finally does beat him, then you debut or just re-debut the WWE Championship. You can still call them what it is until that happens, and the whole 1,000 days thing. Fine, keep that going. But does this kind of a slap in the face of the lineage of the Universal Championship? I know it was up and down. It started off pretty strong. Finn Balor was the first champion, got injured. Then Kevin Owens ran with it and made it something, and obviously it was deteriorated a bit when Brock Lesnar had it, this and that, but it had some prestige for being a second world title. It was looked down on by a lot of people. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, see, I don't, because I just don't think it's been there long enough. Like I know some people did some good things with it, but I mean, I think we'd rather care about the WWE title. I don't think anyone cares too much, and maybe newer fans, I don't know, about Universal and it's a WWE Universe. Like, it's the WWE, man.
I feel like it does. Like, I kind of feel kind of both ways. It doesn't really diminish it because, like Mike said, they didn't have that much to begin with. But I also feel like it does a bit because it almost downgrades what other people who had it did with it. Of course, this oversaturation of Roman having it kind of did that already, but because you had guys who did some really fun stuff with it and made it work, and then it just kind of became the belt that Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, and Roman got to hold so they could be world champion for an extended period of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I am saying that Yeah, I mean, but more or less. But it's just kind of obvious that's what it became, more or less. It was like they could have really built it up as something, and because to me, almost any belt is kind of tied to the matches that it has to it. So this is where kind of like the World Heavyweight Championship comes into play for me. Why I wanted it back so badly as the original big gold belt, because it to me it had a lot of good memories attached to it, not just from WWE, but reminiscent of its incarnation in WCW. And the fact it's so popular, even VIP has their own version of that belt. It's silver with the Texas logo in the middle, but it's still a version of that same belt. So it's just, I don't know. I don't hate this new belt. I actually kind of like it, but I just it's everything about it's kind of weird. But at least I'll give them this. At least there's going to be kind of like a tournament-esque thing for it, unlike when Triple H got the World Heavyweight title, and Bischoff just gave it to him, which was never a fan of. It's got to be honest.
Yeah, someone's got to earn it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but which, by the way, of course, takes place at their Saudi Arabia show. So,
is it a one-night tournament? Is that what they're doing it?
I don't think it's one night.
No, I think they're building it up.
Oh, the final is that's right, Night of Champions. Yeah, that kind of leads into the next story. Originally that was supposed to be called King and Queen of the Ring, and now that's been redubbed the Night of Champions. So every championship will be on the line. The finals of that tournament to crown the first. What are they calling it? I don't even know what the new name of the belt is. Or the new
I don't either. Oh, that's actually a good question.
WWE Universal Undisputed.
Presented by Triple H. Yeah. So
presented by Snickers and Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
And Tout.
The Pope's Exorcist.
Yeah.
Wow.
So see where that goes. We'll see how the draft ends up. Of course, the draft Backlash is kind of sandwiched in between both nights of the draft, so that's going to be quite an interesting pay-per-view.
By the way, guys, was that new title announcement, did that shake the foundations of WWE?
No.
No, it didn't really.
But something that kind of did, at least made it interesting and has me a little more excited about Backlash, is Bad Bunny's little promo segment with Damian Priest.
I ain't even gonna hold you. Somebody said on Instagram, this is the match I'm most hyped for, and I was like, yes. I would be lying if I didn't agree. Homeboy's finna go at it. I'm like, yo, I can't believe I'm saying this. That might be my match of the night already.
Look, I'm gonna put it this way. These are the other matches on that card as of right now. Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Rhea Ripley versus Lena Vega. Seth Rollins versus Osmosis. Yeah, Vince's creative control there. Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed. Mike might be fun. That one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. But nothing against them. None of them are Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. Now, I get it. Yes, it is a celebrity thing. A San Juan street fight. You know that crowd's going to be hyped for Bad Bunny. But the way they present this promo,
I was going to say.
Yeah.
I was going to say. It's a celebrity. Yeah. It's a celebrity thing, but friggin' Bad Bunny's proven himself over and over again. So he's gonna kill it. I'm sorry. He won me over years ago, and I'm like, friggin', if he's in a match, I'm in.
Yeah. He takes this very seriously. If you haven't yet, go back and look for his carpool karaoke segment with James Corden.
Corden, I think.
He talks a bit about his wrestling and how much if I'm going to do it right. Like he gets in there, trains, he does it. So for him to be in his home country getting a singles match, I really thought it was going to be some sort of tag team setup, but he got a singles match out of this. It's like, okay, he's got to hold his own with this. And I know it's a gimmick match, but still that's a lot,
But I feel like Damian Priest is the right opponent for him though.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Plus there's two things. No, it's okay. If you've read your history of wrestling or read a lot of things from wrestlers over the years, you know the history of when wrestlers go to other countries and they face that country's big star, they are scared to death to pin them in a match.
Yeah.
Because they're like, so Damian Priest knows whatever happens, if Bad Bunny gets knocked out, he's dragging Bad Bunny on top of him and taking a bump to be like, oh, I got knocked out, pin me. But also, number two, don't forget Zelina Vega, Puerto Rican, which is kind of a big storyline they had into her getting this match. I don't think she's going to be beating her, But it just sorry. But I kind of feel like they may give her a visual pin type situation. Just because she's in her home country herself. She's been kind of laying low, but I think this LWO thing has actually been really good for her. If they let her come out, they didn't let her come out with LWO last time, which I didn't get. But
could be a DQ finish type deal where like she technically wins, but just doesn't win the title.
Yeah,
as long as she has a good showing. Yeah, I mean, I pretty sure she's a pretty good descent. I know I believe she was born. Yeah, she's born in Queens, so more than likely, I believe she is. Trinidad. Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I first of all, I've enjoyed the fact that they've kind of opened this LWO to be just Latinos in general, not just Mexico, like the original was. So it's been great. But yeah, I don't expect her to win that one, but I'm pretty sure she's gonna have a good showing. The crowd behind her. But yeah, like you said, don't. That money loses, man. I don't know if any of the Judgment Day would get out of Puerto Rico or alive, but but still, the promo, the setup. I mean, they're telling a great story with this, and it's amazing. Yeah. And I know Tommy's conflicted because I think BOW is that night, and same night as Backlash. So you're probably gonna be rushing home, staying up late watching Backlash after BOW is over. So.
Well, it depends on how long we run at BOW too. So.
And actually, I wanted to try and make that show. So
yeah, it's gonna be a fun show actually. So.
Any other bit of wrestling news besides those two main things? Go ahead, Mike.
There are two things.
Go for it.
I don't know how much I've seen about this online. One of them first is a apparent lawsuit by a former writer of WWE for apparent racism in the writing group or whatever. I don't know if you have seen this yet.
I haven't, but I'm not shocked.
But apparently, there's this case going on, and some of the legal stuff have gotten leaked. And one writer, I don't know if they're suing WWE or the head writer at the time or one of the writers, but they proposed a love triangle between Mansoor, Aaliyah, and someone else. That wasn't the crazy part. The crazy part that Mansoor was going to have a secret, or this was what one person proposed, and everyone was like, no. But Mansoor was going to have a secret, and his secret was he was behind 9/11.
Oh,
and
my God.
Out loud in a meeting. And apparently there's a bunch of other examples. This was just like a big one that got leaked. And people were like, beside the fact that that's like the most horrible thing after you already had the issues with Muhammad Hassan years ago, they were like, Mansoor would have been 6. Like, what is the logic? Like, but even besides the obvious horrible racism of it, and then someone was like, well, actually, the only reason they probably didn't like it because it would have affected their relationship with Saudi Arabia and the money. I was like,
well, because he's like Saudi Arabia's hero. If he goes back for a Saudi Arabia show and gets cheered running that gimmick,
but
look how bad that's going to look on the whole
apparently,
country.
like there was named, like apparently there were racist storylines involving Bianca Belair that were pitched. Several other of their minorities.
How dare they? Sorry.
Yeah. So someone actually.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Yeah, I know, buddy.
I know.
Like, look it up. Like shirts on social media. It's out there. And then, but my favorite one, because of us, someone posted a bunch of you guys owe ACH an apology. And I was like, well.
Oh, they're not wrong. Yeah, they're not wrong.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Agreed.
Yeah. A couple of wrestling news things I heard. Well, one, it just happened. Roderick Strong is now All Elite. Yep. So I'm super hyped for that.
Adding a little bit to that, people didn't know he was gone from NXT. Apparently,
I suspected he was.
I know, but like people had been asking around NXT, like non-WWE people, and people at the Performance Center was like, yeah, I don't know. He just hasn't been here lately. I don't know. So like that apparently never got told to people there at the NXT PC.
Yeah, because I didn't
his
expect
contract
him to show
like quietly expired, and he just shows up on AEW TV kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess so. Tommy, was your other story CM Punk Gate?
It wasn't, but it was related to Chicago in a way because of
go ahead with that one first.
Because the Impact tapings are in Chicago, and apparently Trinity Fatu, aka Naomi, is supposed to be debuting there, and apparently it's on a one-off thing, from what the rumors have been saying. And let me just say, personally, it can be a one-off, a two-off, a three-off. If it's Trinity/Naomi, she can be wherever she wants to be, and I'll be there.
What's her finisher? The rear view, or is it the?
Yes.
Okay, Jordan Grace has already tweeted, "Rear view me right now."
Let me be perfectly honest here. I've always loved Jordan Grace, and it's like me and her are just like right here. We are like best friends. Okay.
I was like, I love it. That's awesome.
Amazing. Well, we'll see. If they're taping, I think that's this week or next week.
I think that's tomorrow. Or
the weekly episode's tomorrow, or
yeah.
If they're already broadcasting a show they previously taped, maybe there's something that goes on beyond that.
Yeah,
so.
or maybe it was tonight. I can't remember. But the CM Punk gate thing is funny.
Speaking of Chicago, where WWE Raw was on Monday, what came out in the middle of the day on Monday? CM Punk backstage at Raw. And there's a lot more that's come out of the story, but that initial stuff Monday was pretty interesting.
It was.
Because there was a fan who has a video of him in the parking lot talking to Tamina, and the fan's a total dick. He's
Absolutely.
like, we see you, Phil. We see you in the hat. Come over here and talk to us. We won't tell people.
Yeah.
I was like, douche.
Yeah, because that'll encourage him to go over there.
Right? Announcement about what? About Trinity? Clarify for us, Jason. But yeah, and then apparently what's come out, but it's also actually kind of interesting to AEW. Apparently he had gone to Florida, from what I've read, to meet with Jericho with FTR as intermediaries. Because, we've already talked about the rumors that he's going to come back. They're going to have the show. They're going to split the brands a bit. So apparently he went to meet with Jericho because, Jericho came out after that and called him a locker room cancer. And he assured people that Punk would never be back. I don't believe everything Jericho says because he's a wrestler and he's Jericho's.
And he also likes money.
Yeah. And apparently he was on a flight back to Chicago out of Florida, and it wound up with a bunch of people because a lot of the wrestlers from WWE live in Florida.
Yeah.
So apparently they all wound up on the same flight. Punk was talking to some of them. Started thinking, maybe they're on good terms and maybe it would be worth it. So he was friends with one of his friends that's in WWE still, brought him in. From what I've read, he was just out in the open talking to people as they were coming by. And
Triple H included, by the way, apparently.
Well, this is the thing that makes me laugh, though, and kind of goes back to what we talked about at the beginning. Apparently, he shook hands with Triple H. It was nothing hostile. But Triple H said, because Punk was like, is it okay if I'm here? And Triple H said, I don't know. I've got to check with the big guy. If Vince is not there and you're Triple H and you have to go call him at home to see if that's okay for the backstage of a show he's not out, Vince is still in charge of everything. I don't care what they say.
Yeah.
That's just...
I mean, that could potentially be related to the lawsuit that CM Punk won. I mean, there's from a legal standpoint, there might be
legal. You called.
Yeah, I know.
What you were doing.
But on the CM Punk side of things, I don't look too much into this.
No. Me neither.
You never say never in wrestling, but yes, whether this is related to maybe something coming out of that meeting with Jericho, with FTR as the intermediary, whatever, is just that you got to really tone down your rhetoric, make amends with some things, it's it's that's fucked up. Not what I'm showing here.
Okay.
Just an announcement from Jason, but yes, I did see this Legacy Nerd. Yeah, that's funny.
Legacy
Nerd. No, I think, I don't know if Punk might just be down. Maybe he's like, he's not going to do this much longer. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
Whether it's matches here or there, he's still under an AEW contract technically. It's maybe somewhere down the road he might get a one final match at Mania just to kind of close things out and
get his Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I honestly, okay, for lack of a better comparison, but at least look at the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
He was shunned from WWE, WWF
they
for the
made
longest time.
I guess it was a VHS at the time. I don't remember.
It was a DVD because I almost bought it.
Yeah.
What was it? The destruction.
The
self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior. Yep.
Yeah. Which you could still find, and Warrior tried to sue over that, but it's like, you really couldn't. You don't have a case, and they made that. But ultimately, Warrior makes amends. He shows up. He gets inducted to the Hall of Fame. He shows up on Raw, and then sadly, like a day or two later, he passes away from a heart attack.
Yeah.
But in that moment, he's got to clear his conscience of that, if you will, because it wasn't the easiest thing. Now, I'm not picking sides on who's at fault for the whole WWE CM Punk debacle, the podcast with Cole, this or that. That's a long overdue. You already know about that. But as you get older, you start to realize that we're fighting over something stupid,
Yeah.
Yes, what happened, but, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, jeez. In what, 5 seconds? If Vince is coach,
I feel like less people I feel like there would be less rage about that now, but there would also be more for an entirely different reason. Not because boo Roman Reigns beats CM no, because oh my god, he won again, Jesus Christ! So yeah.
Actually, you want to flick people off? What about the opposite?
Have him beat Roman Reigns?
Bring him into.
I feel like.
Jesus.
Could you imagine that?
I feel like AEW and WWE fans would hate him forever for that. Like after that. Now Chicago would hail him as a god, like they already do. But
Okay, let's book it right now. WrestleMania 40 at Philadelphia. Cody Rhodes loses again to Roman Reigns, and at Backlash in Chicago, CM Punk beats Roman Reigns for the WWE Universal
Same beginning. But CM Punk, Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 9's it. Shows up to help Cody Rhodes. And then, Cody's like, yeah, Punk, go get your match, just like Brett was. And an impromptu match. And I even want Roman Reigns trying to do the bonsai drop.
I mean, that was his uncle?
I somehow related to
yeah, right, they're related.
Yeah, because...
I think Yokozuna and his dad or brother, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
We speculated. It's not
before you go, I don't know if he'll win it in May. True or false? Roman Reigns wins that third title by the end of 2023.
True.
Well, just wins it in general, or all three at the same time?
Well, if he wins, you figure he'll have all three at the same time.
I mean, does he lose his two before and then win that one?
No, if he loses it at an event other than WrestleMania, then it's a fucking waste of a title reign.
Well,
so
no, you're not wrong.
Yeah, so no, he's not losing it.
Yes.
He was
true. Whatever.
What if that meme of him holding belts actually does come true? Like that's foreshadowing, and W's like, you know what? That's a great idea. Let's just run with that. All right, let's get in now into main topic of the day: Mission Pro Wrestling's Edge of Glory, an event you guys attended this past weekend. It's
of glory.
Oh, before we get to that, we'll talk about this afterward.
We'll do it afterwards. Yeah,
I'll do the local events afterward. But why don't you really get into this, because this was quite the event. You guys were there somehow in the middle of a brouhaha brawl. Tommy, your wife, and
post a picture, JC.
Oh, I have to go pull it. I'll get it in a second.
Okay, it's a work of art, man. It is like you had to be. I mean, in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do y'all want to get into the card, or do you just want to get into the stuff that happened with this? Because
you guys get into the card a bit when I get the picture.
So let's go to the event, because.
Okay, we can go to the event first.
Let's go to the tag team. You want to go through the card?
We can go. Up to you. I'm good either way, because we're going to cover it all anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So let him pull.
Hang on, I got the picture. Give me a second. Oh wait, give me a second. I gotta open up something here. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Y'all talk. Let me get it.
Okay. So we started with the match. Then it was a tag team title match, Bougie Reality versus Moneybirds, which was the second to last match, but it was a good match. So. Men's Revolution comes down because earlier in the night they had won their tag team match by cheating, as usual.
Yeah.
And then after a little while, because they had lost them by nefarious means, by shenanigans.
Sorry.
What are they? The Queen Bees? Danny B and Charity Kane?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. They come out, and Tommy and B Ninja, being the gentlemen that they are, give their chairs up so that they can sit at ringside.
Yeah.
To keep an eye on the Men's Revolution, which, let me tell you, you need to wash your eyes out after keeping an eye on the Men's Revolution.
Yeah, I mean they had to touch them earlier, so I hope they showered thoroughly.
And then at some point, I don't remember if the Money Birds were getting close to winning or what was happening, but Men's Revolution gets involved.
Yeah.
Queen Bees, get involved, and it's a big melee. Everyone's fighting. Thunder Rosa comes to break it up and lay down the law, and then we get this in the midst of all that. Guys, we're not lying. This is in the middle of like a bunch of people fighting all over the ring and stuff.
So not counting those two, so there are at least 9 other people fighting at this moment, or 8 or 9 other people fighting at this moment. They dip, and I don't know, and Maddie immediately sat next to my wife. There wasn't even a second of hesitation. She sat right over there. Rashay didn't come over till later, and I snapped this picture. I was like, how did they pose perfectly? And my wife having the time of her friggin' life at this event.
Dude, I mean, I know it goes without saying, but like everyone loves your wife. Like all the wrestlers, they all.
Ever since I've known that ever since that time, La Rosa Negra asked me where she was and put me a video telling her she better be the next show. I was like, I went home and told my wife, I was like, babe, please come to the next show. I don't want to know what La Rosa Negra will do to me if you're not there. I said, I'm kind of scared now.
In fact, I think you can see Maddie here whispering like, "Leave Tommy at home next time."
Yeah,
so,
right.
She probably would. And she's like, you're way more fun. Please stop bringing him with you.
But that was just that part. That particular was like the highlight of the night because it just
that probably is one of my favorite pictures I've ever taken at a wrestling show because it was just such a perfect moment. It was like because I have before and after Rashay, she was like kind of like crawling over there, like grabbing her bag and like just like looking. But as I was picking, she like looked up for like a second and like just like I got that. I was like, what the? I was like, what the hell? How did she do that?
Perfect timing. The camera's on you. Make yourself a star. So
man, it was so good. It was so good. I couldn't even get mad. It was so funny.
And so the result of that did actually lead to the first match announcement for the next show, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's go through the rest of the show real quick.
Sure.
Pre-show, Casey Blackrose versus Max Heights.
Max Heights, yeah.
Max Heights, yeah.
Yeah.
Max Heights was really impressive. He's from the Dallas Fort Worth area or something.
Mm-hmm.
But the old Spurs logo on the back with his name. So the old before the
Dallas Chaparrals?
No, not like super old. Like the last before we kind of changed to the more Fiesta colors the last few years. The one that was there for a long time that kind of the
ABA kind of thing, yeah.
So I want to say he's from this area, but up to Dallas for whatever reason, and that's where he started training. I think I could be wrong about that, but I think that's what happened with him.
Well, they were the pre-show, and they put out an impressive match. And again, not just saying that because we had him on. Casey is just putting on great match after great match. His backbreakers, his boss man slams or different variations of that. Like he really is killing it. And we joked around. So Tuesday night, Mission Pro had their recap show with Emily May and Veda Scott. So I've joined the last couple weeks, and it's really fun. And last week Boss Baines interfered and joined into the stream live or whatever, and so that was kind of a fun thing. But we were talking about it, and we kind of throw it out there, and people were like, because I was like, Casey's the only man in Mission Pro who's actually won something. Men's Revolution's over here just whining about stuff. Someone's actually winning matches. And it's true. He's got and when we did the interview, he kind of mentioned there's some people over there talking about they're the men of Mission Pro, but I'm the only one who's won a title. He's got the MPW Cup.
Yeah.
So now that granted, before the show when we went to take our VIP pictures, Tommy wasn't late, but he had come after me. And so I saw Tommy walk in. I go to walk over, and I hear Casey, "You don't need to go hold his hand. You don't need to walk him in. He's a big boy." I was like, "F you, Casey."
For the record, I say I really truly do hate Casey Blackrose. It's not a gimmick anymore. It's just.
I have to ask this though. Is it? We've kind of said this might be true. This might happen. We talked about this show last week. Is it Alejandro Leon can only win the RCW Phoenix Championship if it's being defended outside of an RCW show? Is that really what the plan is here?
I mean, given what we've seen, given the data we have, yes.
Yeah. I part of me almost hopes she is booked next show and loses it immediately. Just to say, what the heck? Just so she can
she's got the Phoenix Champion. You have to assume, yeah. So
I just want her to kind of scream, "Why the hell can't I keep this belt when I'm actually here?"
We have it on our list. In May, they have in our house or what in your
house.
Right?
In your house, in our house, actually.
In our house, right?
In our house,
right. Changed.
Yeah.
I said this that night because you made the comment, Jason made it. I was like, you know what the key is? Don't have a Phoenix title match on that card.
Yeah.
If you don't have a match on the next RCW show, you can't lose it.
Yeah.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
But that her match with Vanity though was a really good match, and it was a surprise just because we thought Vanity had just won it at the last event.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alejandra picks it up, and she's been really impressive, even though she hasn't had as many wins in the show. Like she always puts on a great match. Vanity 2 was really good. What was the joke you made about renaming Mission Pro?
Mission Personal Wrestling, because it does not matter what match is happening. It's like after it's booked, the people are like, "How dare they book me against this person?" And I'm like, "Y'all got beef?" I got to tell you a quick story about that when we get down later on the card. We'll get to Misty Marks and Dream Girl Ellie. But it's like every match is like, I'm booked with this person. I hate this person. I didn't know you knew them prior to this.
Except for the next match, who I think was the only one that had any kind of sportsmanship in it. That's Emmy Camacho versus Mia Friday.
Yeah, that was. I mean,
two of the young stars.
Well, Mike, they're too young. They're too young. Yeah, Jason. Yep. But Mike, they're too young to have that much beef yet. Give them a couple more years, and when they're booked again in a rematch, it'll be personal. They will try to kill each other immediately after the bell rings.
Okay, I got to share this thing with JC too, because this cracked me up before their match. So one of the MPW regulars, this other guy who's also named Mike, makes a lot of signs for wrestlers each show, and he made this real cool one for Emmy, and she's kind of got this hashtag Emmy era that's kind of caught on at Mission Pro. So he made the sign, and she got it and got in the ring and showed it off or whatever. And so Mia kind of playing along. She's like, "Anyone have a sign for me?" And this lady holds it up, and it's her mom. And she goes, "That's right, my mom made a sign." The crowd, not instantly, and it may have been you or Brandon, I'm not even sure, started a Mamma Mia chant.
It wasn't me. But I was behind it 100%.
It just fit perfectly because she holds it. She's like, "That's my mom. She made me a sign," and people were clapping. And then, in a few seconds, it was like, "Mamma Mia." I was like, "Oh, I loved it. It was perfect."
I felt like that was probably the most wholesome moment of the entire night. But that was cool. That was cool. I really do think Emmy and Mia have bright futures ahead of them because, for as young as they are, that really was a good match. It's like so.
Yeah, and they had a lot of technical. That's why you joke, but the only match that didn't really get personal, they were wrestling and countering and doing a bunch of stuff. Really impressive. And then they shook hands afterwards.
It didn't devolve into the slugfest that literally every other match.
But that was the only match. That was the only match where there was some sportsmanship. We get on to
Tiffany Nieves defeating Shay Carmichael.
Yeah. So
right.
Look, we love Tiffany. We are fans of her. Partially at this point because we're scared if we say otherwise.
Yeah, we are. I mean, what he said.
We made this joke, and I kind of turned to Tommy and go, "What? She's gonna find something to make this personal real quick." And I don't know what happened, but sure enough, within 30 seconds of the match, she's like, "Bam!" and just getting ferocious, and we're like, "Yep, she must have breathed, she must have done something."
She breathed too hard. How dare she?
Because in all seriousness, Tiffany Nieves, undefeated, I think, or has won her last set of matches. She's been there now. Very impressive. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets a title shot in one of the next couple shows.
Yeah, because so far she is undefeated. Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Now, we kind of mentioned it earlier, but to officially talk about it, there was the Men's Revolution versus Danny B and Charity Kane match. Hard hitting. Also, another pre-show moment. Tommy and B Ninja getting down with outside the ring as they were getting down inside the ring.
Because
I haven't had a chance to go back on Title Match to see if they caught it, but I hope they did.
Because Kane and B's theme song. Oh, what was it? Damn it! It's a certified hood classic. I was like, yeah.
And so Tommy and them were on the outside of the ring getting down.
Yeah,
and they turned around and saw them, and Charity was like, yeah, like
yeah. So that was a proud moment for me. So
we kind of talked about Vanity and Alejandra, a little bit of a shock. Not because we didn't think Alejandra was good enough, literally just because it was a recently won title. That kind of shocked us. Now, Tommy, you said you wanted to get into Misty Marks and Dream Girl Ellie.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Also, because this also ties into what happened after the show, which if you follow on social media, you can mention. So, Misty Marks has had this thing about outsiders coming to her town. She's from Houston, and getting matches on the card. Sorry to say it.
Golly.
Sorry, I couldn't help it. They come to my city. You're from Houston. Every time they're in my city, you're from Houston. They come to my city, do this. I can't. Does she not know she's from Houston, or did no one tell her?
You tell her that, Tommy. You tell her. I'm sure she won't mind.
So anyway, about the show. If I'm gonna die, it's gonna be because of my own stupidity, Mike. Not because of the stupidity you tell me to have.
No, close enough.
Okay, fair. So of course they had the whole thing, and of course if you follow social media before Mission Pro, literally before the doors open, Misty Marks jumped Dream Girl Ellie because wrestling, but she
didn't really get her because Dream Girl kind of dodged it initially, and
then security showed up. Thank God.
Yeah.
So while they were wrestling /fighting, which again, Mission Personal Wrestling, I yelled out at one point. I just yelled, "So who owes who money?" So after the show, Misty looks at me and says, "Were you the one who screamed who owes who money?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Dude, we were trying to hold it together the entire time after you said that. I wanted to yell she owes me $20." And so I found Dream Girl Ellie too, and I told her that was me. She said, "Man, that was great. I wanted to yell that she owed me 30." But yeah, so I mean, Dream Girl Ellie I've met before. She's totally awesome. She's real sweetheart. Misty Marks is just really coming into her own. It would not surprise me if she's another one that we're talking about, like we talk about Maddie sometimes. Is like, man, her first shows we saw her. Now she's like really on everything, everyone's TV screen at the point. It won't be surprising if that happens. But then you have the moment of Tiffany Nevis getting ready and Misty Marks confronting her ish. So I mean,
that was interesting.
Give me that match injected into my veins. Thank you very much. I will take it. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Now, of course, you mentioned the brouhaha with the Money Birds and Bougie Reality, and I was the only person that picked the Money Birds, and technically I got it right because they won via DQ, if I'm not mistaken. At least that's the way it's been reported. So.
Yeah, because they were the first people attacked. So, I mean, Men's Revolution went out after everybody, but I think they were the first to get attacked, so technically it goes down, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were right, technically.
Yeah, and as I understand it, that has set up a new match at the next show, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Okay, we'll get that in a minute.
Yeah. Then finally, Genocide retains against Hyen, the MPW championship.
Yeah.
So
And cool moment before the match. The people from Mission Pro went and got a handful of kids, gave them these robot genocide shirts. So if you watch it on Title Match, or if you even follow her on social media, you'll see the entrance. She came out with like 5 or 6 kids first. Like the 5 or 6 kids came out with her, and then she just kind of like led a parade around the ring, which was a really cool moment. And then the match started, and then again,
then it got personal.
Mission Personal Wrestling. They, but Hyen was not backing down. Took it right to her. Couple times where you were like, "Oh."
It was actually a lot closer than I expected it to be. I was like,
Yeah.
title changing hands tonight, and we didn't know. So it was really cool though. I like it when that happens. And they prove they have that hard hitting nature, which I know they both do. It's just cool to let them see the approach, let them do it. And of course, with the interest, genocide's for the kids. Kind of like Wu-Tang, genocide's for the kids.
Right.
All sorry, right, I've been waiting since Saturday to make that joke on this show. So
now, as far as how our picks went on this, Tommy went 5-3, and then myself and Mike went 6-2 on this one. WrestleCast ratings 0 to 5, 5 being WrestleMania 17, 0 being December to Dismember. Tommy, we're going to start with you. What is your rating for MPW's Edge of Glory?
I'll go like 4.5. It's no complaints. I just don't want to, like overhype it for anyone. But like, I guess it's always different for us being there because it's just like we're there. It's happening in front of us, and that makes it so much more awesome. Like the whole thing with me and B Ninja giving Danny B. Trader Kane our chairs that just came to me off the cuff. I was like, hey, I don't like Men's Revolution. You two need to sit down. Take my chair. I will stand over there. Like so, and that didn't bug me at all. Yeah, it didn't bug me at all. And real cool moment. I want to shout out the Mission Pro staff because I guess we were kind of in the way, so they just asked us to move, and that wasn't the problem at all. I was like, yeah, we don't mind, but they were gonna give us other chairs to sit down, but because they appreciated us giving chairs to them, for that. But we waited them. I was like, dude, we're used to standing at shows. Half the time we stand anyway. How not rare is we buy front row anymore? So no, we're good. But I want to shout them out. They're really professional about that. And I respect how they run their shows. So yeah, but a 4.5 for me. It was a great show, lots of fun. Can't wait for the next one as usual.
Okay, Mike, what about you?
I think I'm going to go the same thing. Like, again, never disappointed.
Absolutely not.
I literally posted this a week or two ago. We've gone to wrestling show for years. God, like 2007, I think, when at least me, JC, me and you started going regularly to indie shows. And, for years, we went all the time. And then, life hit, things happened, and we stopped going as often. Jason, well, I was going to get to that when we talk about the setup for the next show. Last year, we talked briefly about, things the last couple of years. And JC and Tommy know specifically about, things over the last year or two for me. But last year, things really turned around. First of all, with that AEW show in March, when we went and saw Thunder Rosa win the title.
Very cool.
Win the title in a steel cage in her home crowd with the best entrance ever, mariachis in a arena full of drunk Mexicans.
Damn right.
Hardest thing you can do. But that really, got my interest again, and that's when I finally was like, you know what? I want to go see this Mission Pro. I've heard so much about it. I've heard Tommy even going to shows. And I went to that first one last April, and it's really this past year, starting with that, and then, venturing out to Hybrid. BOW, I went to a show. I'm going to try to go again. RCW, I've tried to go twice, once in November, once this last month, and life keeps getting in the way in a really odd way. And I don't know, but it just really,
I know the feeling, bro.
It just really rejuvenated the love of being there. When Tommy talks about like all the little fun, and I know JC, because we've gone for years, but Mission Pro really does it. They have a really great staff. They have really cool people, and we've started to get to know a bunch of the regular fans there.
Yeah,
I didn't know. Like I know you've known Jason before that, but I didn't know Jason before that. Bernsey, well, we haven't met Bernsey there, but because of this. But there was a guy Clint I met when I was waiting in line. Drove 17 hours down from Louisville. He's a big Tiffany Nieves fan. Shout out to him. That was cool. The other guy, Mike, who makes a bunch of signs. Luis, Bootleg Greg, who's on social media. So it's just a great environment. I know a lot of these people go to other shows too. Amanda is another one that I met through Mission Pro. Well, actually, I didn't meet her through Mission Pro. I met her at the WrestleCon for Sting. Then I found out she's at every show too. That led to us doing more of the interviews we've done recently. So just really cool stuff. And I shout out Mission Pro for that, because for me, it really ignited this return to indie shows and a lot of the stuff for me that I've been doing lately. So,
and also shout out to my boy too, who runs the We Love Wrestling Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook page. He made it down, and he's a gigantic wrestler. He goes everywhere. Like when I say he goes everywhere, this dude will go all over the country to watch wrestling. So shout out to him. He was there that night too. So yeah, it's good stuff.
All right, now this will be kind of lead in. Jason saying it was an 8.0. It will only go up to 5, but 8.5 for Thunder Rosa cussing at the Men's Revolution. Yeah. And this was kind of part of what they set up for the next show, which is MPW True Colors on June 10th. And it's a fatal four-way for the MPW Tag Team Championships. Guys, who's in this match? Obviously, the
four teams involved. It's Bougie as the champs.
Yep.
Moneybirds are in there. The Queen Bees, Charity, and Danny B, and the Men's Revolution as the 4 team. Real quick before you comment on it, though, two things from Thunder Rosa. She pulled a CM Punk because she was like, "Stop! I don't like working with children. You're grown adults." And then she did. She turned to Harlow and was like, "Shut your effing mouth! I'm tired of you." We were like, "Whoa!" Because she dropped an F-bomb on them, and
She look, dude, I swear she's the Latina mom that gave them damn kids 3 tries to be quiet. She's like, all right, y'all gonna be quiet? I'm finna just whoop everybody.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she had the chancla in her back pocket just waiting to go.
I'm sure.
It was in her jacket. You didn't see it? It's like she almost said, y'all say one more damn word. One more word, I swear to God. I'm whooping everybody in this building.
Another quick thing is because, after she did that, and then the Men's Revolution were like, "Well, we didn't do nothing," and then Thunder Rosa kind of went to everyone like, "Oh, y'all didn't do nothing? You didn't do nothing?" And then she pointed to Maddie, because Maddie and Rashay were right next to her. And I almost agreed with Maddie, because she's like, "We're the champs. We really didn't do anything."
Yeah.
She's not wrong. They keep getting screwed in matches because of them. I mean, they're going to defend themselves. But, they got screwed or they had a miscommunication with Top Tier the show before.
No. You were right the first time. How dare you try to clear that up? You son of
a miscommunication. I don't know.
It might have had shit.
But yeah, no, go ahead because I know where you're going, JC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this where the Men's Revolution take the tag team championship?
Can we just pick the show now?
I mean, at least
please, God, no! Please, God, no!
I know what I'm picking with it.
I know you're picking, and you're probably right. But like Mike with Bully Ray,
they'll be out there full Astros gear, Space City, banging trash cans, whatever they got to do.
He was wearing Cleveland Browns this week, so he's not. So take it down.
Because it's draft week coming up, right? Draft day, great movie.
That's God.
Yeah.
JC, y'all keep talking for a second. I'm gonna pull one other picture up real quick.
Okay.
Because I've had some interactions on social media with Boss Baines, and we had some interactions with him there at the show. And I tweeted a picture out yesterday or a couple days ago and I just put Mission Pro without context.
Yeah.
And he said, "This is horrible." Something about, "Please take this down. This is disgusting." And then someone from the WrestleCast, Twitter page, I assume it was you, totally said, "Hey guys, he's right." I don't know who else would have done it.
Me neither.
Please don't like and share this photo. So I'm definitely not going to share this photo.
You shouldn't, Mike. You should not.
Definitely not going to.
It's not right, Mike. We should not be doing these kinds of things because we should be better than this.
Can y'all see my screen?
We can't now.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, I said you shouldn't do that, man.
I know. So what I'm doing as a public service announcement, ladies and gentlemen, if you see this picture on social media, please do not share it. Please do not retweet it. The very reasonable and never causing any shenanigans Boss Baines asked very nicely. The Countdown City WrestleCast officially agreed that it would not be great. I don't know. We don't need to know the context of what happens. We don't judge people here.
No, of course not.
So, if you see this photo, please do not share or retweet.
Do not, guys. It's definitely not on Mike's Twitter right now. It's not.
It's not on this tweet from April 23rd at 8:17 a.m.
Not at all.
As a matter of
fact, I'm definitely going to go right now to not share this.
Yes. I'll go ahead and stop sharing now.
Cool. Glad we cleared all that up. So
yeah, no, Jason, it's a public service announcement because I just wanted to be respectful of what Boss Baines asked. He asked us not to share and retweet that thing, and I think it's only fair that we don't. Like I said, we don't know the context of what happened, and that's not important.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, that was our recap of MPW Edge of Glory. Again, if you were at the event or saw it on Title Match Network, feel free to comment and share your thoughts on it as well. Now, looking ahead to what's on the horizon on the local wrestling event front, this weekend is actually the Hybrid Experience, Hybrid Mania 3 on April 29th.
We'll go over that part in just a minute.
We sure will. BOW is going to be in town May 6th, which is the same night as Backlash. May 21st is RCW's in your house or our house. I can't remember which one it is.
My house?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fit it in my house.
In our house, I think.
I gotta clean the.
Yeah, Brendan, allow me to vacuum real quick. So
I gotta clean the living room, dude. You should have told me years ago.
Hey, and then finally, Mission Pros True Colors will be June 10th back at the Salvation Army Corps. So
we've seen their companies here doing shows in a literal backyard. So
yeah. So.
Now,
Hybrid Mania, as we mentioned, is this weekend. Mike, you just want to quickly kind of go over what's on the card for what's on tap for this event?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've put this card together because I don't know. I've noticed this with some of the shows we cover. No one puts the full card out on like a one-page thing.
No, not anymore.
They do mounts announcements and then they kind of spread them around. So I'm pretty sure I've got this because I know it's not a very big card necessarily, but we have Jesse James, who we've also interviewed on this show, facing Troy Markham, who is a veteran. At PWE recently, he actually had a match with Christopher Daniels, and he's been at the last couple of hybrid shows. So they're going one-on-one. David Kidd versus Eric Walker. Eric Walker is also a pretty young guy who's teamed a lot with Zakai Living and Devin a few times. In a Playgrounds rule match, I'm not sure what that means, to be honest with you. But, I'm interested because David Kidd is, I forget what is he, like the biggest kid in wrestling or I don't know, but he's really good at what he does.
I can't remember what it was, yeah.
Another interesting one, Vic Endurance versus Stud Stash. So Stud Stash going to be on the hybrid show.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then here's some interesting ones. There is a triple threat title match for the women's title again. Two of the same people from last time. Gia Michelle is the champion. Key Vibes is one of the participants. And also Jazzy Yang, who I'm not as familiar with. Tommy, I don't know if you are.
Yeah, I am. That's Jimmy Yang's daughter.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
And I mean this, and I really mean this when I say she is a total sweetheart and a really cool person to talk to. Like, she is very personable. And so then, and I also, because I think Jimmy Yang's supposed to be there too, if I'm not mistaken. That's they're the main reason I want to try to make it. Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. That makes sense for the next match. In almost a rematch, because last hybrid show, it was H2 Easy was that RC Mania? H2 Easy and David Kidd versus the Texas Treats and Diego Rene. This time it's H2 Easy, the variants of the Men's Revolution, with Jimmy Wang Yang versus the Texas Treats and Diego Rene. Diego Rene is a Texas Treat in training.
Yes.
So you can spell what that acronym is.
Yeah.
RCW and Hybrid don't have any history of using funny acronyms for teams or wrestlers that have come through.
No, RCW has
technically
never.
that was CWF when that happened. Yes. So.
So that's what I mean. It's not a San Antonio.
But no, but RCW has never done that. Like with the Coalition of Caucasian Knights or the head in charge. So yeah. So
the what?
You can say it.
The head in charge. Sorry, something in the air in here.
Interesting.
Right.
Head cop in charge?
Yeah, I guess. Oh, you didn't hear me? I said head. What? Now cut it off. All right. In charge.
And then
what are we talking about?
The last match I have sounds really interesting. It's for the tag team titles. The champions are the Flocking Brawlers, which is Brandon Weiss and Casey Blackrose. I know Tommy doesn't like them, but remember, Flocking Brawlers are both RCW and Hybrid tag team champions. As far as I know, obviously these are only for the Hybrid belts.
Yeah,
right.
But they're taking on the team of Devin Carter and Zakai Living, which I think I saw are being called F&G, and I'm not sure why. But this is a tag team title ladder match.
I could guess what that stands for, and I'm like, oh my god. But go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, okay. I had some ideas, but yeah. So
ladder match, interesting.
Ladder match in the Hybrid gym. So that's a lot of different surfaces for Casey to break backs on. It introduces some new things. Also, I mean, Zakai and Devin are pretty athletic dudes.
Yeah,
be interesting to see what they can pull off with this. So, a 6-match card, but pretty solid matches, and they're fun because they're also a very little intimate setting there. I feel like this one's probably going to be packed, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys follow Chris Marvel on Instagram. I check his stories out every now and again. He had one where he's I guess he's getting the ladders for the show, and I guess the clerk when he was checking out said, "What are you having a ladder match?" And he said, "Yes."
You know how many times the clerk has asked someone that, and they've probably been like, "What?"
Yeah.
No.
Like, what, you having a ladder match? What the heck are you talking about? He asked Chris tomorrow, what, you having a ladder match? Actually, yeah, this coming Saturday. Want to come? What? Wait, for real? Yeah, I have a wrestling school down the street. You probably got it like Home Depot. Yes, like down the street. Want to come?
He gets Mick Foley on it only at the Hybrid School of Wrestling.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
I have a question, and I don't mean this in a mean way in any way. Has anyone ever seen Chris Marvel actually get like angry or excited, or not excited, but like overly emotional?
I feel like he's the Tim Duncan of San Antonio wrestling.
Right? Like I feel like he keeps a pretty calm demeanor, no matter what. Now Jason, probably longer.
Angry in a match or frustrated? Yes.
Which was this one?
CWF.
Oh, I think I missed
and
this
you
one.
guys remember the Hooligans?
Oh god.
Oh wait, yeah. Okay, no, you're right.
Yeah. So it's the only time I've seen him like just frustrated with that team.
Fair enough. That's in a slightly different way. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course that match. He told me afterward they had the exact same match like a couple weeks ago because that's all those guys knew how to do.
Yeah.
And then of course the following CWF show, we know it was Ikaika and Masada. And the funny part is like I went by the CWF arena the day before that show just to like drop something off for Ray, and Ikaika was there. And I was like, wow, I thought he was in Hawaii. I didn't know he was in town. So I was just chatting him up a bit. He was just, I'm just coming to check out the show. And the next day, I talked with Ikaika and stuff, talk about stuff. The next day was that match was Masada, Ikaika. And I saw Masada come out, and I was like, okay, the Hooligans, whatever. And we were already on the Hooligans because they couldn't wrestle for shit. And then Ikaika comes out. And he sees me front row, and Mafia comes by and walks on. All he just tells me is get ready for the beatdown. I was like, oh, these sons of bitches just pissed off the two worst guys backstage. And we know what happens. But,
Some
that was a fun night. That was a fun night. It was a fun match. It was one of those things where you just don't disrespect the business. And they got what they deserved. Whatever you want to look at it, it was in the course of a match. You wanted to talk all the shit you did, and you got it. So, but that was that the month before that they had a show, and it's the only time I've ever seen Marvel like frustrated. Because he's very cool and calm in the ring. Like he's always protecting his guy. I think that's what I've always respected most about his work. The cocky Chris Marvel just it's kind of cool. So but that for sure. That's the only time, and that's what was frustrating. When he's in the ring with guys that aren't going to take care of him, that sort of thing. Yeah. So but other than that, that's there's a reason he runs that school. There's a reason that school's successful.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So and it's been great. So.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately I'll be out of town this weekend. Otherwise I'd definitely try and go to that event because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. So
no, that's cool. No, and you're right about that. He's gotten a shout out from so many people. He's got a lot of good people that have come through that school. He's always getting like top tier guys and legends to come in and do seminars at the school. So
for sure,
it's quickly becoming one of the well-known ones around.
What's her face? Izzy Mania from Florida. She'll come through, every few months just to train there, spend some time in San Antonio and get that. She's training to become a wrestler. She's been doing it for a while now. So
in fact, I believe they're on AE. Was it at Hybrid? I think it might have been, or maybe it wasn't. But I think they're on AEW All Access.
Okay.
Rosa, or at least JP and Maddie were. Maybe they weren't at Hybrid, but I couldn't tell. I just saw some pictures, but I think they were doing some stuff, and like Thunder wasn't wrestling obviously because he was dealing with the injury. I think she was talking with some of them or whatever, and so it's well known, and I think it's gotten a lot of respect around Texas, and it's growing around the nation as more of these people go
for
out
sure.
and do things. Maddie's also tied to there as well, and
it's such a great school. It started. It was Marvel, Masada, and Ray Rowe, and they're still those three guys started it up, and it's the way it's kept going, the way it's been built. Marvel was our first interview back at the old Hybrid grounds, and he's got something great going. I'm glad he's done that, and no better person for that, to run a school like that and teach them.
In fact, I think they just had their 8th year anniversary recently. So
it's hard to believe it's been that long, right? Isn't it crazy? So it's pretty awesome. And then, even years ago before that, Steady from the Geekcast, we were working. He's like, hey, my brother's a really big wrestling fan, and for his birthday, I want to kind of get him some wrestling training, just like as a fun thing. And so I was like, I might know a guy. So I called Marvel up and say, hey, would you be willing to do something like this, or like a fantasy camp kind of thing? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I gave him the contact. They set that up, and lo and behold, the night before that day, his brother went out and got like shit faced. Woke up a little hungover, but still went with the training. And Steady got in there with him. Rob from the Geekcast got in there with him. And
is that where Steady has the picture on the rope on the corner from?
I think that was at another event.
Oh.
I don't know where he was where he took that one.
In a ring. No,
yeah, he was in a ring, but he there's a video. I'd have to go back and find it. But actually, if you go back and look for the Chris Marvel interview, I played a snippet of Rob from the Geekcast getting chopped by Ricardo Rodriguez, and he was. It was hilarious because they did that morning, and then we had an event at Play Live that day, and they were sore. I was like, I asked Marvel about it. I was like, yeah, they were sore, but we took it easy on them. So it's pretty cool. It's a great thing, and I think it's been a big reason why wrestling has kind of had its bit of resurgence in the San Antonio independent scene as well too. So it's been pretty awesome. All right. Well, that's what's on tap for Hybrid Mania this weekend. Again, that's April 29th at the Hybrid School of Wrestling. Check out their Facebook page for more details. So, do you guys have 1 minute warning items this week?
I don't. I'm good this week.
I don't. I really did think I did, but I don't remember what it was. I gotta start writing this stuff down. But no, I'm good.
Mine was really the rant about the whole World Heavyweight Championship thing coming back, but we kind of went over that already at the beginning of the show. So, but thank you everyone for joining us on this week's episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. Next week we will be back, most likely on Thursday, we think, to preview WWE Backlash, which is shaping up to be a very good show. See what happens when you take the name WrestleMania off the name of the event, how much better it is. Backlash has always long been a great pay-per-view, a great follow-up to WrestleMania, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I think they got something great going on here. We're going to talk all about it. We'll make our match predictions as well.
And we'll talk a little bit about BOW, which
yes,
Tommy
which happens
will probably
the same
be
night.
taping,
Yes. Yep, for sure.
As far as I got that day off. Barring anything else happening, I should be working that day. If not, well, I'll see who I can get. But no, I should be there that day. May 6th, yeah, and it should have to be a hell of a show. Like what we have on tap so far, it's looking like one hell of a show. And also, Danny B will be there. I think she's tagging with. I think I could give you this match. She's tagging with and our kid Ash, and they're facing the Moneybirds.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a good match.
Yeah. So
Danny B was also at PWE this past weekend in a 4-way wins match, which included Tessa Blanchard, I think Gigi from the Moneybirds, and Miranda Alizé. Mm-hmm. So that was an interesting one. Of course, Tessa won, but I mean,
we'll talk about that, right?
I can't stand that freaking moniker, and that's even nothing against Edge and Randy, but that's a rant. I will not do it.
I kind of maybe I did my 1-minute warning on Twitter the other day because I said I'm tired of these catchphrases that they give the announcers that they have to run into the ground.
Yeah.
Because Monday, the whole first hour was the announcement that's going to shake WWE the foundation, and it reminds me of like the most stupendous WrestleMania, the greatest wrestling match ever. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, my only problem with the fact that they was like, well, if you have to keep calling it the greatest wrestling match ever, then maybe it's not. Samoa Joe and Kobashi.
How do you follow that? Why do people even keep wrestling?
Like, why don't you let us make that decision after the match has happened?
Yeah,
yeah.
And I'm sorry until it surpasses Joe versus Kobashi. No, it's not. Anyway, so.
All right. Again.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All night, right? So. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the WrestleCast. Over here, we got Tommy.
Thanks, guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
We'll see you next week.
Boy.
Adios, Gunther.